What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this, your brain is actively hiding information from you, not misplacing it, not forgetting it, deliberately concealing it? Scientists estimate that 95% of your cognitive activity happens completely outside your conscious awareness, meaning the version of yourself you think is making decisions, forming opinions, and navigating reality is essentially a passenger who believes they're driving. Welcome to Mind Atlas. And tonight we're going into the dark corners of human consciousness that most people are never supposed to find. Let's start with something that should unsettle you immediately. Your memories are not recordings. They are not stored like files on a hard drive. Every single time you remember something, your brain reconstructs that memory from fragments. And in that reconstruction process, it edits, distorts, and sometimes completely fabricates details. Neuroscientist Elizabeth Loftus spent decades proving this, showing that entirely false memories can be implanted in a person's mind with nothing more than a suggestive question. Participants in her studies remembered car accidents that never happened, recalled strangers who were never present, and in some cases, developed rich emotional memories of childhood events that were entirely invented by researchers. The terrifying part is that those people were absolutely certain they were telling the truth. You have memories right now that never happened. You just don't know which ones. But it gets stranger. There is a phenomenon called cryptomnesia, and it operates like a ghost in the machine of your creativity. It happens when your brain takes something you've experienced, strips away the memory of where it came from, and then presents it back to you as an original idea. Musicians have written entire songs this way, genuinely believing they composed something new, only to discover later they had heard a nearly identical melody years before and completely forgotten the source. The brain doesn't announce what it's doing. It just quietly recycles old material and hands it to your conscious mind, wrapped in the feeling of inspiration. Some researchers believe this happens far more often than we realize, that originality itself might be partially an illusion, constructed by a brain that has forgotten where it went shopping. Now here is something that will make you question every conversation you've ever had. There is a psychological phenomenon known as the Forer effect, sometimes called the Barnum effect, named after the showman who believed there was a sucker born every minute. It describes the tendency for people to accept vague, general personality descriptions as uniquely accurate portraits of themselves. The original experiment done by psychologist Bertram Forer in 1948 is almost embarrassing in what it reveals. He gave all of his students the exact same personality profile and told each of them it was individually crafted based on their personal test results. When he asked them to rate the accuracy of the description, the average score was 4.26 out of 5. They all believed they had received something personal and insightful. They had all received identical text pulled from a newspaper horoscope. This is why cold reading works. This is why horoscopes feel accurate. And this is why you should be deeply suspicious of any system that claims to know who you are, based on a short questionnaire. Go deeper with me now, because we need to talk about what happens in the space between waking and sleep. There is a state called hypnagogia, a liminal zone of consciousness that exists in the threshold between being awake and falling asleep. In this state, the brain produces hallucinations so vivid and bizarre that they have historically been mistaken for supernatural encounters. People hear voices calling their name. They see geometric patterns collapse into faces. They experience the sensation of falling, of floating, of being watched by something just outside their field of vision. Thomas Edison reportedly used this state deliberately. He would sit in a chair holding steel balls, allowing himself to drift toward sleep. And the moment he crossed the threshold, the balls would drop, the noise would wake him, and he would immediately write down whatever imagery had flooded his mind. He was essentially mining the hallucination state for ideas. Salvador Dali did the same thing. The unconscious mind, in that unguarded moment, produces imagery that the waking mind would never construct. What exactly is generating those images, and why, remains one of neuroscience's most genuinely unsolved questions. Here is a fact that tends to make people uncomfortable at dinner parties. The feeling that you are a single, unified self with a consistent identity is a story your brain tells you. Researchers studying split-brain patients, individuals whose corpus callosum connecting the two hemispheres has been severed, discovered something extraordinary and deeply disturbing. When information is presented only to the right hemisphere, the left hemisphere, the one responsible for language and narrative, will still confabulate a reason for any resulting behavior. The left brain essentially invents an explanation in real time and believes that explanation completely. It doesn't say "I don't know," it constructs a story. And here is the implication that should be sitting very uncomfortably in your chest right now. Most of us have intact corpus callosa, but the storytelling mechanism is still there. Neuroscientist Michael Gazzaniga called it the interpreter, a module whose entire job is to generate a coherent narrative out of whatever your brain is actually doing, regardless of whether that narrative is accurate. The self that is watching this video, the self that has opinions and preferences and a sense of continuous identity, may be, at least in part, a story that your brain is telling you about yourself in real time. There is a condition called Cotard syndrome, and it sits at the absolute outer edge of human psychological experience. People who suffer from this genuinely, sincerely believe they are dead. Not metaphorically, not in a depressed, poetic sense. They believe they have ceased to exist, that their organs have stopped functioning, that they are rotting from the inside. Some refuse to eat because they believe their digestive system is gone. Some walk through the world convinced they are a corpse that somehow forgot to stop moving. Brain scans of individuals with Cotard syndrome show dramatically reduced metabolic activity in regions associated with self-awareness, as if the parts of the brain responsible for recognizing the self have gone functionally offline while the body keeps running. The experience these people describe is, by every measure, indistinguishable from their lived reality. They are not confused. They are not pretending. Within the framework of what their brain is presenting to them, they are dead. Which raises a question that is not entirely comfortable. If a brain can convince itself of something that catastrophically false, what subtler errors might yours be making right now without any alarm bells going off? Let's end with what might be the most unsettling piece of this entire conversation, because it brings everything back to you. Researchers studying decision-making have demonstrated repeatedly that the brain makes a decision before you become conscious of having made it. Benjamin Libet's famous experiments in the 1980s showed that neural activity associated with voluntary movement began nearly half a second before participants reported feeling the intention to move. Half a second might not sound like much, but it is an eternity in brain time, and it suggests that what we experience as the moment of choice may actually be the moment we become aware of a decision already made somewhere beneath conscious access. More recent work using brain imaging has pushed this window even further, with researchers able to predict simple choices up to 10 seconds before participants were aware of making them. What this means for free will is a philosophical argument that keeps neuroscientists and philosophers awake at 3 a.m. But what it means for you, practically, sitting here right now, is that the internal experience of deliberating, weighing options, and then choosing may be, at least in some cases, an elaborate post hoc sensation applied to something that was already in motion before you showed up. The mind is not a clear window onto reality. It is a theater, producing a convincing show while the actual machinery stays hidden in the dark. And the most disorienting truth of all is that the tool you would use to investigate this, your own consciousness, is the very thing under suspicion. You are being asked to audit the auditor, to question the questioner, to examine the instrument of examination. That is where Mind Atlas lives, in those questions that don't resolve cleanly, in the facts that don't make comfortable dinner conversation, in the science that reveals the human mind to be stranger, darker, and more extraordinary than we were ever really prepared to accept. If that is the kind of territory you want to keep exploring, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit the notification bell, because these are not videos you want to stumble across 2 months late. Every week we go further in, and we are just getting started.